This is Gemara Baba Basra Daf Kuf Chaf Hey, and we're holding 7 lines from the bottom. First one in line is the Gavei Damya, and today's shir has been sponsored as an incredible Zchut Rafua Shlema for Tinuk ben Miri Ahuva. We should continue seeing incredible Refuahs and Yeshuahs as the Zchus HaTorah in Mirza Hashem. Baruch Hashem, we're back up to date, getting the Daf up at least a day earlier, and hopefully we should continue on that path. Omar le Rav Achar Barav le Ravina. Rav Achar Barav says to Ravina, Ikla, one second, let's get that highlighter up. There we go. Ikla Amimar la Asron. Amimar came to us, Vidarish, and he darshaned the following halach. A continuation of our halachas of Pishnayim, of Bachar, etc. Says Amimar Bachar Noit Pishnayim b'milvet, which is really the end of the previous daf, which was at what point does the Bachar get Pishnayim? So says Ravina b'milva, yes, avaloi b'ribis, but not b'ribis. Amar lei. So Ravina responds, and Nahardoi l'teimayu. The Nahardayins agree with that we are saying, which are the opinions we saw yesterday of Nachman, who also came from Nahardai, says like a Meimar. De Amar Rabba, as Rabba now explains, where did Rav Nachman say this din? Gavu karka yeshloi, gavu mois einloi. Rabba said that if the Yarshim collected land as a payment for a loan, the Bachar, yes, gets Pishtayim in that, but if he collects money, they do not. Comes like Rav Nachman Amar, Gavo Ma'ois, Yesh like Gavu Karka Einloi. So Rav Nachman we see saying like a Meimar, Gavu Ma'ois, the same thing as collecting a milva. Amar le Abaye le Rabba, says Abaye to Rabba, le Didach Kasha, le Rav Nachman Kasha. So Abaye says to Rabba, I have a Kasha according to you, and I have a Kasha according to Rav Nachman. Explains Abaye. Ledidach kasha, according to you, Rabba, the following is shver. As we turn over to Kof Chof Hey Amir Aleph, asks Abaye to Rabba, Ma'ishna Ma'ois Delay. What is the reason that you're telling me that the Bachar does not get Pishnayim? What's the reason? Because Delav Hainu Ma'ois Shavak Avu Hain, because this was not the money that the father left over, and therefore the Bachar does not get it. But asks Abaye, Karka Nami Lav Karka Shavakavuin. So why, if the Yarshim inherit Karka, do they get? It's also not the land that the father gets. Va'id, and furthermore asks Abaye, Ha'amar Mar, different Gersayis over here, Mistaver Taimer de Bnei Marava. The Bnei Marava's Tam, those in Eretz Yisrael, the reasoning is good. That if the grandmother came and sold the property, her sale is a good sale, and the wife gets nothing. So what do we see? We see that in this case, that as well, the Bachar is not going to even get Pishnayim. So why did you, Rabbah, say not that way? And the Raya explained the Rashbam is that we see over here from the fact that the grandmother was able to sell the land. That shows us that when one has the ability to block this land from going to the next level, then the Bachar will not get Vishnayim in it. So this is going to be a Stira Kasha and Rabbah. Why? Because he could have repaid with something else. He didn't have to repay with land. And if the aside is at any time you could have preempted this piece of land, this item from going over, there's no Pishnayim, then it should have been the same thing over here. Says the Gemara, that's the Kasha and Rabbah. Number 2 explains Abaye 5 lines down. The Rav Nachman Kasha, according to Rav Nachman, it's shver as well. Ma'ishna karka deloi. What is the reason why you, Rav Nachman, hold that if karka goes over, the Bachar does not get Bishnayim to lav ho karka shavikavuin, because it's not the same land that the father left over. The same kasha ma'is nami lav animo shavikavuin. It's not the same one that the father left over. Ve'oid in kasha number 2. Amar Rav Nachman Amar Rabba Ravu. Rav Nachman taught Yisayim shekavu karka b'chayvis aviyin bal chayv chayz every gavim mehen. That if Yisayim collect karka, then a bal chayv, someone that the father owed money to, he's allowed to come and collect from the Yisayimim. So if he's allowed to collect from the Yisayimim, Then Rav Nachman clearly holds that the land is considered as if it was the father's, because that's why the Baal Chayv could get it from them. So if it was the father's, then the Bukhar should yes get Bishnayim. So Amar Lei responds, Rabba, Lo Lidi Kasha, Lo Rav Nachman Kasha. It's not a kasha according to me. It's not a kasha according to Rav Nachman. Time of Divnei Rava Kamrinan Lon V'Loi Sviralan. Number one, you said to me, Rav, my name, my Rav, as we saw on the fourth line, was their time was mistaver. Yes, their time was mistaver, but we don't hold like that. My Safta, and I'll tell you why. Because this grandmother, Dahud, Amarlu, excuse me, Veloy Svir Alon, we don't hold like that. Rather, we hold the Bachar does not take Bishnayim, and that's the end of that Raya. The Gemara pauses right now, even though we haven't yet answered up all the kashas. But says the Gemara, my Safta. What was that case of the Safta that Abaya quoted? Tahud Amar Lahu. There was someone who said to his family before his Petira, as we turn over to Kof Chav Hey Amid Beis, Nirsi Lisafta. My property should go to my grandmother when he is nifter. Someone tells his family prior to his passing. Basra liartoi. And after the grandma, it should go to my yarshim. Havle brata. So this person had a daughter. To have a nesiva that she was married. Shchiva b'chayi baylo b'chayi safta. And now this daughter died both in the while her husband was alive and while the Safta, the grandmother, was alive. So then what happens? So again, the Safta gets it first, and then it should go to this daughter. The daughter's already dead. Basa the Shchiva Safta, after the Safta dies, Asa Baal Kotava. The Baal comes, the husband comes, and he's claiming the estate. The husband of this woman is saying that, hey, you said it should go to the Safta's Yarshim. The daughter is no longer. I inherit the daughter, so I should get it. So Amar Rav Huna liyartoi vafilu yarti vafilu yarse yartai. Says Rav Huna, you know what he meant? What he said, he goes to my Yarshim, meant to the Yarshim of my Yarshim, and therefore, yes, the husband gets it from the wife. Rav Anan Amar no liyarti v'loy liyarti yarti, only to her, but not to her husband. So shalchu mitam, they sent from over there. What's the psak halacha? Halacha k'v'sei Rav Anan, it does not go to the husband. V'lav mitaymei, but not for his reasoning. Why? Hilchas k'v'sei Rav Anan debal lo yarti. V'lav mitaymei. Why? Dilu Rav Anan savar Rav Gavdav lebra lebrate lo yarti lo yarit. Because Rav Anan was of the opinion that even if there was a son, then one more time. Even if he had a son, lo yarit, the grandson would not inherit in the place of his mother. And that detail, meaning if let's say this woman that died before her husband, let's say she had a son, Rav Anan held, even that son wouldn't get. And that detail we don't really paskin like. If there was a son, v'adiyaris, the son would indeed inherit. But davka ubal haynu taima de lo yart. Only the husband did not. Because with regard to the husband, it's called roi. A husband, similar to a bachar, does not get beroi to b'mochsek. This is something that we saw back in Daf Kuf Yud Gimel, that there's no din of roi to the husband, and that's why the husband does not get it. Says the Gemara, what does Rav Huna hold? Rav Huna savar bal noitel roi k'b'mochsek. Is that true? Amar Rav Elazar, Davar Azeh, Niftach by Gedolim and Istayim V'Kitan, and this thing was opened, was started by Gedolim Rav Huna, and it was closed by lesser ones myself. I'll explain Rav Huna. So this person made this tonight when he was dying, as if it's me'achshav. So it's not that Rav Huna held that the husband gets keberoi. Just dafka in this case, because there was a stipulation made, it's as if it was already went over, and that is the reason why Rav Huna held that the husband in this case would, yes, indeed inherit the grandmother. Amar Rabba, Rabba comes along and says, Mistaver time in the name of Rabba, even though Rabba argued, he says, why is it Mistaver? Excuse me, even though Rabba said we don't paskin like them, why is it Mistaver time in the name of Rabba? He called him Safta Vizavna. Zvini caused, if she would have sold, it would have been a good sale. Therefore, we see it was not for sure going over. That was the svara of the Minei Marava. We'll stop over here. And actually, we're not going to stop over here. One last shtickle Gemara. So what's the psak halacha? Amar Rav Papa, 4 lines to the bottom. Hilchasa. Eina bal noitel b'roike b'muchzik. Number 1. Veina b'char noitel b'roike b'muchzik. Number 2. Veina b'char noitel b'ishnayim b'milva. Number 3. Bein shegavu karka. Bein shegavu mois. Whether it's land or whether it is money. Umilva she'imai. And we conclude as we turn over to tomorrow's daf. Kof chavav amar aleph, and the Gemara concludes, our Papa concludes, umilva she'imai, palge. And if there was an outstanding loan with him, palge, they split it. And the Rashbam explains, what does that mean? Shebachar is chayiv la'aviv. If the Bukhar himself was chayiv something to his father, then they split it with the remaining brothers. He gives the brothers half and he takes half. Stop over here. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata dishmaya.